let anybody put limitations on what you can achieve. My family was getting ready to leave Cuba to come to the U.S. When we thought everything was ready to go, we went to the airport, and at the last minute, when they checked our papers, they said only I could go. So you can imagine parents waiting at the airport. The plane is running, and they have to make a decision on the spot. Do we keep the whole family behind, or do we send Ralph ahead? They were thinking they would follow in a few days, so my dad said, Ralph is going to be like a sleepover. After I left and got on that airplane, I would not see my parents again for 4 years. So those 4 years of separation from my parents were the most difficult in my life. So everything I have done since then has been relatively easy. The merging of Singular Wireless and AT&T Wireless in the largest all-cash merger in the history of the U.S. at the time, a $41 billion all-cash transaction. I tell people that was relatively easy. Hard is leaving your country, leaving your family, leaving your language, leaving your culture, and starting again. Obstacles welcome. Don't let obstacles deter you from your dreams along your life's journey. I'm involved with a lot of charities because I think that it's important to make sure that we mentor youth and that we actually help youth fulfill their full potential. I make those choices because I'm kind of paying it forward. I think what gives me the most satisfaction is when I see young people achieve their full potential. I remember taking a couple of young kids up to my office a few years ago, and I rode them up the elevators to the 20th floor where my office was. I tried to get them to go in the office, and they wouldn't follow me. They were staring at the window on the 20th floor, just looking out. And I said, well, come in. They wouldn't come in. And they then told me that's the first time they'd been seeing the world from 20 floors up. Giving kids the right perspective, exposing them to things they had never seen before, can make a dramatic change in their lives for the better. What we need in this country today are jobs. And typically we teach students how to fill a job. But what if we could teach students how to create a job? There's an old Chinese proverb that you give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. I like to modify that and make it more modern. Teach a young man or a woman about entrepreneurship and they'll learn how to catch the fish, sell the fish, and then eat fish or steak or anything else they want for the rest of their life. So I think that's the power of entrepreneurship. It teaches young people how to be self-sufficient and actually how to create jobs in an economy that needs it so badly today. I would tell you what my grandmother told me many, many years ago, and that is, don't let anybody put limitations on what you can achieve.
Good evening. Buenas noches. I want to thank the Congressional Hispanic Leadership Institute for this award, and in particular, Board Chairman Lincoln Diaz-Balart, a great leader and friend. I'm sorry that I can't be there to accept the award in person, but know that I'm there in spirit. Your recognition is particularly meaningful for me and for AT&T, as I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you, and I know how hard you work in representing your constituents, including the interests of the Hispanic community, so that our freedoms are protected and our Constitution upheld. These days, your role is even more important. You represent a segment of the population upon whose shoulders rests the future of our nation. By virtue of its size and youth, the Hispanic community will have a direct impact on our country's future global leadership. A stronger, more educated, and politically engaged Hispanic community will strengthen the U.S. That's why I'm proud that AT&T invests more than $350 million in our Aspire program. Aspire was designed to help our young people graduate from high school so they can become productive adults and contribute to the success of our country. We live in the best country on earth. Despite the many issues we face, the United States is still a beacon of hope for millions of people around the world. And that's largely because of people like you, your colleagues in Congress and in the state legislatures. You are the keepers of the promise that every American has the right to fulfill his or her vision of the American dream. Lately, some have cast doubt on that dream, and I am living proof that it is very much alive. You see, it has to be a great country where a 10-year-old boy can set foot on its shores without his parents, not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, not even knowing anyone else, and today stands before you as the President and Chief Executive Officer of AT&T Mobility, an enterprise with more than 100 million customers and 50 billion in annual revenues. Muchas gracias, Chile, for this great honor and for all you do to keep the American dream alive for generations to come.